All right, welcome back to Mill. Part two of the big sycamore here, 5/4 by 8 boards. I got Danny here with me now. He's outside, but he is on the hunt, so I have to kind of keep an eye on him. We're going to mow through these two monster cants here and blow them into 5/4 boards. And I'll give you a look as we go. It's what the customer requested. If you didn't watch part one, watch part one. It was a real fat, probably a 3 to 4,000 pound log. It was a heavy. Sycamore's heavy, and the band is a Silvertip Turbo 7 that I'm trying to work my way through because I'm switching over to all Stella Cut bands. It cut beautifully. The mill was able to turn it. Everything went kind of fine for an off-size log. And what I mean by off-size is that this log's not 8 feet long. So on my mill, I have 8 feet across these 3 bunks to be able to use all my hydraulics. This one's not 8 feet. So I had to offset it and use a couple of manual clamps, one there and one there, to be able to use my log turner and my hydraulic clamp. It kind of stinks. Make sure people send you stuff 8'6", 10'6", 12'6". Make sure it's always 6 inches over. Because for having to do all this, this is going to end up being about a $200 log. Now, it probably would only take me an hour if it was 8'6". But because it was off-size, I ended up having to move clamps. I ended up dumping it off the mill. I ended up having to replace clamps, clamp brackets that I bent. And it requires manual work. However, I just did the board footage on it. If I end up with 30 boards out of this, which with my edgings, my slabs up here, I'm going to be pretty close. At $200, he's going to get out of this for $1 a board foot. So these are beautiful, beautiful pieces. You know, you look at those. I wouldn't, if it were me, I wouldn't even want them edged off. I would want them just like that. But they came out ridiculously flat and smooth. I don't know how well the camera's going to show up, but these are gorgeous. These are going to be beautiful, and he's going to get 30 of them, and that comes out at $1 a board foot. So there's 200 board feet in this log, and at $1 a board foot, you can't complain for a beautiful hardwood sycamore like this. These are absolutely phenomenal pieces, and even with cutting as big as I am cutting, there's not a wave in it. Danny, let's see if I can get you a view down the crisp edge here. There's not a wave in it. It cut perfectly flat and perfectly smooth, even in max wide cuts with a fairly aggressive band, and even as cold as it's frigid cold out today. So, we're dealing with some parts of this that are frozen and everything else. For having it like that, this mill is cutting beautifully. These are gorgeous pieces. The color in them is going to be outstanding. It's very red, like elm. Different shades of red. Right now you can't see it because the sun bleached this one out a little bit. You can see the color a little better there on the one underneath it. But regardless, and I've said this over and over again, if I mill customer logs at $100 an hour, and I mill my logs and sell the lumber by the board foot, everything ends up, the $100 an hour typically ends up to be about $1 a board foot, ish, depending on what somebody wants, especially if they want off-size big logs. Could you cut more in an hour than 100 board feet? Sure you can, but $100 an hour is not expensive because a dollar a board foot is cheap. So at $1 a board foot for this gorgeous sycamore, it's going to be well worth it. So what I'm going to have you guys do is I'm going to mow through part of this here. We'll get them off the mill. And yeah, we'll do some edging, and we'll get them all stacked on the forks while I'm trying to keep an eye on this stupid dog. Danny, come now! Got to get myself up above about, I think I'm a little over 16, I'm a little over 17 high, I think. Yeah. I've already got my 5/4 scale set. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a truing cut off the top to get myself 2 5/4 scale, and then mow through it, take some off, and then mow through the rest of it and do my edging when I get down below like 6 inches. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to see where on 5/4 scale is the top of our top cut's going to be. It's going to be a waist cut. I do know that. Yep. It's still going to give them a decent little board. That's at 16 1/4. And this is going to get rid of the wane on the side that you guys are on. I'm going to close my mouth down, give myself maximum support, and let's go to cutting. Keep in mind that this is still a 16-inch wide cut in hardwood. God, I love the smell of this stuff. So what you want to do now is I like to know what my cranks up are going to be to clear, and I like to know where my next cut's going to be. So I call it out to myself if you ever hear me do it. And these top two almost ended up 5/4. But I like to call it out to myself. So right now I have to go up a crank and a half to clear, and my next cut is right around 15 inches. So I'll just go up 2 cranks, come back, smoke it right down to 15-ish. By my 5/4 mark, it's actually 14 7/8. And one thing I am going to have to do, Danny Cobb, is right on these. Truing cut. Not 5/4. They're close, but they're not 5/4 because I don't want him to come back to me and say, your dimensions were all off. All right, so now I have to go up 2.5 turns because I have 2 boards on here, and my next drop is going to be right around 13 1/2. So 1, 2.5, and then rip it right down to 13 1/2, which is right where it's going to be, 13 1/2. I'm just going to go up 4 turns this time, and my next cut's right about 12 1/8. When I say this is a lumber making machine, this is what I'm talking about right here. So it is exactly 12 1/8. I know my clamps are down at 4. I can't get anywhere close to them before I'm going to bump into the can anyway. I'll put them all the way down after we take these off. Danny, come now. Now. I see him over there. So I'm going to go up 4 or 5-ish, maybe 5.5, and my next cut's down around 10 3/4. So I just went up 6. Plenty clear so I don't bump into the can. Rip it right down to 10 3/4-ish. Find my, it is exactly 10 3/4. Right on my 5/4. One of the good things about having this extended mill now is I get my saw head out of the way down here, and I can start taking boards off. I'm going to throw them right on my forks. I will show you. I'll clean some of them off and show them to you. Let me get these 2 truing cuts off. I want to keep these together. I'll scrape this and show you these 2. Man, they are hard. You hear that clap when I drop them? I'll scrape these off and just show them to you. They're beautiful. The mill is just cutting. Danny, come now. Sorry about calling him. I have to keep an eye on him. Show you these boards, then I'll pause you guys. I'll get the rest of them off and we'll cut it down to somewhere below 8 inches and we'll do our edgings. Look at the color. These are just gorgeous. This is so flat too. These cut so flat and smooth. That Silvertip Turbo 7. That Silvertip Turbo 7, guys, if you get them from Joe Main or you get them from Days Saw Bands, they're around a $22 band. They cut phenomenal. Look at how good that is. That, and given the fact that your mill's set up right. So let's, I'm going to get these off here, pause you guys, and I'll come right back. All right, so we're going to take this down to like 6. I think I'm at 10 something now. Full disclosure, there is a real funky, weird grain knot right here on this side, and I am getting a teeny little dip in at the beginning of the cut. Other than that, the boards came out beautiful. They're super, super flat. So let's cut this down to somewhere right around 6 inches, and then we'll get some edgings up here. If I can edge them, it's going to kind of be a pain. You know what? I'm not going to edge on camera. It's a pain being this wide and having these up here. I'm going to edge them off camera. So let's just cut the rest of this out. I'll show you some of the final boards. This is at 9 3/8. I'm going to go slow through this beginning here. Again, keep in mind that these cuts are 16 inches wide. And we're going to go up 1.5 cranks, and our next cut's at somewhere around 8 1/8. Is that 8 inches exactly? Huh. I'm going to double check this one. Somewhere on my blue scale it's off. Uh, that's showing high. No, 8 1/8, which looks good. Yeah, that's what it's for. 'em. Carrying my TV over there. Okay, I'm going to go up 2.5 turns, and my next cut's going to be around 6 3/4 ish. Danny, come. Yeah, it looks like 6 3/4. This is the last cut I can take before I have to move my stock. Two, three, four, a little bit. I'm going to scrape these off, show you the wood. Danny has found something over under my old refrigerator unit, and he is going psycho right now. I'm going to pause you guys 1 second. I'll scrape all this off, and we'll come over. We'll look at some of this wood. All right, let's take a look. You actually get to see a couple of different views of this at how the color changes. If you look at how beautiful that sycamore is right there, and the edges are so good. I mean, this one here, you can't even really see the seam between the two. And then how it blondes out in the sun when it's sitting, but they really are pretty. These two are starting to blonde out in the sun. And you can see where that knot is that I was talking about right there. It goes in from the side. That was causing a little wave in the end. Can't really see it now. You can see it a little bit right there. You see that wave right there, which is kind of good because it's going to make it so that he won't use that section. And you see what they look like when they really blonde out, and you got the white sapwood and the red heartwood. And then whatever this bark inclusion is in the middle here. But really, really pretty. And it's cutting so flat and smooth right now. What I am going to, oh, there he is. See him, look at him staring at me. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take these off, and let's see what it's going to be like if we could edge up against those. I can probably, so am I below, yeah, I'm below 8. Well, I'm going to pause you guys 1 sec. So I'll show you the process. I'll actually, you're going to get to see why I like to edge one at a time. I got these two up here, and it's going to be a pain in the ass because I have to flip this outside one over. This one needs to be edged at 16 1/8 and then flipped over and cut at 8. This one has to have a top cut and then edged at 16 1/8 and flipped over and cut at 8. But because I have two cants on here, it leaves me kind of not much room to work. So I'll just cut through them. We'll take a look at the boards and then we'll wrap this thing up. So I know that I want to get to just about 17 1/2 right now. That's where I want to take my top cut. Like I said, I usually like to edge one at a time with big stuff like this because it just makes it simpler. One of the problems with this is a customer's log. It's not my log. I don't get to just arbitrarily waste stuff. I want to give him the most he can get out of this, and he asked for 5/4 by 8, so that's what I'm going to try to give him. Come on. I hate these clamps not being one-handed. Right now I'm clamping with my manual clamps instead of my auto clamps. And what you want to do here is, if I can flip this one from the bottom, it's heavy. This is a no joke piece here. I can just flip it down without crushing my finger. Oh, I'm stuck on my clamps. This is why I like to do it one at a time. And why those fucking clamps have got to be lower than the bunks. Because of shit like this. I'm like hosed right now. These are going to slide off if I try to screw with them. Or I'm going to crush my fingers, then I'm going to get pissed. I can't deal with these. I can't deal with them. I'm going to have to take them off. Take one off. Shouldn't even have tried it. It was dumb. It's so heavy that all I'm going to do is end up crushing my fingers. If I have more room on the mill, if I didn't have two cants up there, it'd be a different story. But I want to look cool doing it too. So because it says a clean edge on the bottom, I just want to edge it at 16 1/8 and then cut it off at 8. Gives me 2. Come on, Dan. Danny, come. Should have just left him inside. This whole video is going to be me calling Danny. I can't roll it under or it's going to grab that stupid clamp because it's not lower than the bunks. Oh, I don't need to. That was dumb. I don't need to. I just cut it at 8. Just cut it off at 8. 2 boards. Danny, get out of there! kind of almost prefer just to have a whole cleanup day and just do it all later, but for the sake of putting a little bit of time on this video, Danny, now! Danny. All right, I am going to, because of Danny, I'm going to call this a video. I'm going to put him back in the house, and he can sit in there and sulk. So right now I'm at 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. There's still going to be at least, I'll get to at least 28. I will get to 30 boards. So see, the problem is I can't leave them over there because somebody will pull in over there in the building next door, and he'll see him get out of the car and go over there wagging his tail. And that's how he's been getting in trouble lately with his mom. So I can't have his mom come home and find him over there, or I'll get in trouble. So it's pretty much the process. I am going to, this even has some cool medullary rays in it. Must be down. Yeah, I'm cutting right now. These boards here are quarter sawn for at least 2 more boards, and then they'll get a little bit into rift and then flat. But the quarter sawn ones have cool medullary rays in them. I didn't know that sycamore had that. I'll clean them off and let you see what I'm talking about before I edge off this last one. It's going to be the same process with that one. It's got a flat side on the bottom now. I just cut it at 16 1/8 and then cut it off at 8. Wow. Pretty. I don't know how well it's showing up on camera and how flat everything's cutting out, but so if you look without throwing water on them, hopefully you can see all right there, all the medullary rays. Let me give you a view from the other side. Oh, see, I can see them from here. I don't know if you guys can or not. I can see them real well from here. Kind of looks a little bit like, it's got medullary rays, kind of like beech. So I can see them from here. Hopefully you can see the same view as me all down there. All down there. Got a good angle right now, but they're very similar to beech. The small little medullary rays. Let's see if I can get you zoomed in just because it's such a good angle. You can see them all on the camera right there. You can also see a little bit of a pith check here. You see those medullary rays right, get you at a better angle. Kind of on my eyesight. All through, you see them there. All through there. These are really going to be phenomenal boards. And he's definitely getting his money worth out of it. So when I cut that small log, I will probably shoot another video just to show setup on it because it's going to be such a pain in the ass. The small log is right there behind the bobcat. You can see it's like a little 5-6 footer. I think it's going to have to go right here to be able to have 2 clamps. It's going to be a real pain in the ass. I'm going to have to turn it by hand. And it's probably going to, oh, wow. Man, you can really see the rays at this angle here. Hopefully I can get the camera angle right. If I get you looking at the same angle that I am, you can really, really see the rays in the sunshine from here. Can't see good through my camera, but as I come down this way so the sun's on them the right direction. Oh, yeah. Yeah, you can really see them good right here. All through there. So that's pretty much it. You don't need to watch me cut it out the rest of the way. God, I wish I could get that to show up so you would have the same view as me and all the rays in the end there. Holy crap. I appreciate the watch. What we're doing is right now we're seeing what we can do with these hydraulics and how they're going to help us in the future. Um, I hate cutting short logs. I just absolutely hate it. And I told him as soon as he dropped them off, he's like, oh, that's 8 feet. I'm like, no, it's not. And I said, it can't be 8 feet. And I explained to him why, but he just keeps bringing me short logs. So he's going to pay to get them cut. Um, but for now, for Danny, wherever the hell he is, and I'm about to go scream at him, and Pirate Solutions Forestry, we're out.